Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media. And we're now on the Complete Media Network. Super excited. The launch is less than 20 hours away, and I can't wait for everyone to see all the hard work we've put in to get onto this network. There's going to be sports, obviously, music, entertainment, food and beverage industry. We've got comedy, we've got photography, family. We got so many different genres and subjects matter that, yeah, you're gonna just have to make it your destination every day. And we are super excited to be on the network and starting to expand this out and out and out. A big vision for us, and yeah, one of the really original guys that came into the media network was Jason Cameron. He joins me as always on Mondays, and welcome him in, please. Hey, Jason, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing? I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, it was a fun weekend. Your weekend was pretty busy, I hear.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I was able to leave my apartment, which was nice. See
Nice.
people, which
Nice.
was again nice. So it was good. It was a good weekend. I
That's great.
saw human beings, which was good.
I thought of you a couple times this weekend. Obviously, watching basketball, quite often think of you. But one of the things that came to mind with you was how I was eating like a king lately. I don't know exactly why this has happened, but my girlfriend's mother has been cooking so many meals and sending them over to me, and I am just being like blown away, just blown away. I am eating like an absolute king, and I know how important food is to you. Please tell our viewers and listeners what your relationship with food is like.
Okay, so basically, I'm a fan. I'm like a big, huge fan of food.
Yeah,
I love it so much. And I love it, especially when somebody else makes it for me and I don't have to make it myself.
right.
And I got to tell you, I appreciate anybody that steps up into that kitchen, goes on that stove, and is able to make a nice meal
Yeah,
for me. You
yeah,
know,
no kidding. Yeah, I always knew you were a big fan of that, and it was very apparent that you loved when somebody cooked for you. So yeah, you came to mind. Yeah, I hope it keeps coming. I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but she just keeps making an extra meal for me. She cooks for the family and then one for me. And I haven't even seen her for a few weeks until she came over this weekend. And I'm like, holy cow, like, thanks so much for all these dinners you've been sending me. Oh, this has been such a great, incredible variety. And I appreciate it so much. And she seemed very pleased that I was so happy, and so hopefully they keep on coming.
yeah. Or what would be better? Maybe she makes two. You know, maybe I come over. Maybe I share in
Okay.
this bounty of food that you get.
Yeah,
That'd be
okay.
pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I'll have to suggest that to her. I remember I always knew you were a fan of food, but I remember when we started in the movie industry early on together, and I remember having a conversation with you, and you looked over at me, and I'm pretty sure there was some tears in those eyes, and you said, "Holy cow, they feed us so good!" And oh man, I think I would even forego the pay sometimes for the food they give us. Do you remember the conversation we had?
Yes, I do. I remember the pure joy that I had. That's why tears were rolling down my cheeks because it was such a joyful thing. I
Yeah,
had no idea that they would provide food for you or to the amount that they provided food for you.
yeah.
So I clearly remember after a while, people be like, "Well, where's Jason? He's at craft services. Have you checked craft services? He's probably at craft services, like eating."
Yeah, yeah, I've got that reputation around the work too. Yeah, everybody knows how much I love food. This COVID thing has put a little bit of a crimp in the situation. Definitely hasn't been as nice, but for so many years there, man, just eating like a king, and just endless amounts of food. It's always there, and I knew that if there was ever a little lag in the day, I could go and get myself some food.
Yes, exactly. And it's just so nice. It's just so nice to be able to keep pecking or just having something to eat constantly throughout the day, because we do work hard enough that
Man.
we should have something provided, as they do.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I 100% agree. Yeah. So as I mentioned, we're on the Complete Media Network. We're going to, in a second, go on to the websites and get a sense of what we're doing here and the network that we're a part of. I do want to just mention a couple things. I know you're not a huge racing fan, but did you hear and see that the Indianapolis 500 had 40% capacity, the largest crowd in the world since the pandemic hit? Did you hear how many people were there?
I did not hear, but I'm curious to see how many people they packed into the stands. And also, too, could you tell me whereabouts was it held again?
Indianapolis 500 in Indiana.
Indiana. Okay.
Yeah. So the world's probably still the world's most famous race, and the crowds get just astronomical there. They could only fit in 40% capacity, they said. So there was 135,000 people there.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. The States are very good at go big or go home with their crowd.
No kidding. So to me, that sounds like, I didn't do the math, but I think that must be 300,000 people if it's full capacity. Just imagine the logistics of putting on a race of this size and getting 300,000 people in there. And but it looked super packed in. And, on the main stretch, they have stands on both sides. It looked super packed in to me. I don't know how they figured only 40% capacity. I don't know why or how, but 135,000 people still was huge, really, really loud. And I could tell these racers were just excited beyond belief. They had been racing in front of nobody for over a year. And, to suddenly have that type of crowd there, it energized it. And it was super fun to watch.
Well, I can imagine so, because I think the biggest crowd before that was the boxing match, right? That only had about 73 to 74,000. So
right. Yeah,
that is a lot of people. It's a lot of people, man. And we haven't seen a crowd like that for a long time.
I think a lot of American states are just like, well, we're done with this. Forget it. We don't consider this COVID thing a thing anymore. Let's just get people back going. And I've seen it in, some of the basketball arenas, a lot of the hockey arenas. We're seeing it, in certain sports coming back, but 135,000, it just blew me away that they were allowed to bring that many, and that many people came and, put on, just had a great weekend, I guess.
Yeah, they do. But again, I don't know, man. I look at these numbers and I think, is that too soon? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Because I guess these states are just like, well, no, it's not too soon because everybody's vaccinated, which is actually not true. Doesn't mean that vaccinations are available. Doesn't mean that everybody got vaccinated, though. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that 135,000 people that were there in the arena, that 80% of them have been vaccinated. You can't tell me that. So, okay, sure. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the winner of the race was Helio Castroneves. That was his fourth Indianapolis 500 win, and he joined three other drivers that have 4 wins. Nobody's got 5. Rick Mears, Unser, and AJ Foyt. He is 46 years old. He only is a part-time driver now, and he went into 2 races this year, and he's won them both. So there's a lot of talk about him getting back into a full-time ride and going on. And when he was on the podium and he was talking to the media, he said, hey, some of us old guys are really proving that we still got it. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Phil Mickelson. These old guys are showing these young guys a lesson or two, and look out, we're still coming. It was pretty hilarious to hear.
Oh, well, yeah, and he's not wrong, because he absolutely is not wrong. There's a lot of old guys that can still get it done just like himself. So congrats to him, because he's actually making it look a little too easy, because he's like, no, I got a real job. This is just something I do for fun.
On the side, yeah, it's just my side gig. I can beat everybody on my side gig. Yeah, I haven't got it in the car for a few months, but yeah, I'll give it a shot and kick your ass.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl. Hey, would you look at that? I won again. Oh man. Hey.
The other big event happened this weekend was Saturday night. Toronto, Montreal in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The first time they have met in the playoffs since 1979. Huge history before that. Lots of great rivalry in the regular season, but haven't met in the playoffs for this long. The momentum has been building. Toronto roared out to a 3-1 lead, and everybody thought, okay, Montreal's done. This is over. Montreal's won the last 2 games in overtime to stave off elimination and force a Game 7 tonight. And this could be the most widely watched hockey game in Canadian history, maybe the world. Some of those Olympic games, some of those other games obviously would have garnered a ton of attention, but Toronto, Montreal, 2 original 6 franchises, the 2 most successful franchises in Canada, still have fans across this entire nation. This is going to be a big event, and people are just going crazy around the country for this game that happens today at 4:00.
I can see why, because it's been a long time, especially for Toronto, since they've won a cup, like so long that I don't know when that was. Like
1967.
Yeah, man. So I should not know when that was, because that was way before I was born. So that's the suffering that the Maple Leaf fans have gone through up until this point. And then Montreal, like you said, is just the original 6 team, and they've been good for a long time. They've been important to the NHL for a long time, and they've had fans for a long time. So you have these longtime fans on both sides that are just like, this is it. This is it. This is our chance. And especially if you're a Maple Leaf fan, you're just like, come on. We were up 3 games. We're up 3-1. We can't lose. We can't lose. So maybe this is possibly one of the greatest games you've ever seen. Maybe it goes into double overtime.
Yeah,
maybe it's something
hope.
like that.
Yeah, let's hope. I don't know if a lot of guys' hearts are going to be able to take it if it does, but the excitement level is building. Toronto hasn't won a playoff round since 2004, which is a freaking long time ago. They're one of their top players, Austin Matthews, was 6 years old the last time the Leafs advanced past the first round. They've imploded and lost out in the first round 4 years in a row. They've assembled an amazingly great, talented team, and for some reason they've got some type of curse in Toronto that just doesn't allow them to have this playoff success. They have a lot of regular season success. They seem to just keep building and getting that top level talent there. They are the richest organization in hockey by far, and they have far-reaching fans. You go to any arena around Canada for sure, and there are Leaf fans in there. A lot of American cities too, the Leaf fans go there and travel well. This game on Saturday was the first game in Canada that allowed fans into the building. They only allowed 2,500 fans, and guess what that did? That drove prices skyrocketing to the moon. The cheapest tickets were somewhere in the range of $1,500. Some people were paying $10,000 a seat to be in that arena. And it was the first game probably in Canadian history where there was almost no Leaf fans and they were being booed mercilessly in a road building. You come here to Rogers Arena, you go to a lot of arenas around Canada, and there are so many Leaf fans there that they almost drown out the local fans. But it was amazing to see fans finally back here. 2,500 was social distance. I was pretty impressed. They definitely had distance between the fans, but they probably all don't have a voice today because they were loud, 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 loud. It was
Yep.
awesome.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And also too, like I guess we don't do it like they do down south. We kind of take our time instead of just rush everybody back and go like, it's all good. Everybody get back in. No, man, we're gonna take our time with that. And I'm glad to see that, glad to hear about it. But of course, people are gonna be loud because we haven't been able to see a sporting team or a sporting event in this country up until that point. So yeah, people are going to be pretty excited. And it's an exciting thing to be a part of. And you should be excited because he's paid a lot of money to be there. So yes.
And luckily it went into overtime, so they got a little more for their money. It was pretty great. The Leafs asked the Ontario government if they could have fans in their building for the game tonight. They asked to have only vaccinated healthcare workers there, and the Ontario government said no. I felt a little sad to hear that, but I'm glad that they're putting public health first in so many of these situations. 135,000 fans. No, they're not. They're not looking at the public health situation. Here, yes, they're saying no. Okay, we're not quite ready yet. Even though it'll be great, no, we don't approve of this yet. And so it'll be a quiet building, but the energy will probably be all over this country. It's going to be fun. I'm hoping to watch it with some people and get a real vibe going on. I have a Leafs bar in my neighborhood, and so I go there. I've been there when they've lost. Last year, when they lost and got knocked out, it was a somber place. You didn't want to be there when they lost, but it was fun while the game was going on. I think you want to hit the road immediately if they don't pull this win off. You should.
And also too, like if you're cheering for the other team and if you're in a Leafs bar, you probably don't want to rub in their face. You probably don't want to do that either. No. That'd probably be a bad idea. Very bad.
Yeah. You just reminded me of one night or one afternoon. I was down at the Penthouse bar down in our city, and they had opened up the bar to watch the playoff game between the Raiders and the Patriots. And the owner of the Penthouse, Danny Filipponi, I believe his name is, he is a huge Raiders fan, and he threw a big party. He put on the big screen the game, and I would say 99.9% of the people in there were Raiders fans, amazingly enough. But I was cheering for the Patriots. I don't know why. I'm not a Patriots fan. I was just kind of wanting them to win over the Raiders, but I did not utter a peep through that entire game. And it was the tuck rule game, if you remember. and oh man, it was super loud and really fun and going off really great until that actually happened, where Tom Brady was going back. He fumbled the ball. They said he was tucking it back in. It wasn't called a fumble. Patriots ended up winning the game. Man, it got a little rough in there. I smiled a couple times, and then I stopped smiling, and then I put my head down a little bit, and I cowered in the corner, happy but not happy, and but it was a funny event.
Well, of course, because let's be honest, it was a fumble. That was a fumble, and it should have been ruled a fumble. Everybody knows it was a fumble, and the Raiders fans definitely knew it. Got screwed again. And Tom Brady, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of Tom Brady. I get to get away with stuff that normal people can't get away with. I get to do things to make sure I win. And Bill Belichick, my coach, is right behind me. We'll inflate balls. We'll deflate balls. We'll do tuck stuff. Yeah, man, but we win.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it was. That was, yeah, early days for that Patriots dynasty. And yeah, who knows what would have happened if the Raiders had knocked them off. I'm not sure. You know, history, you can't go back and change history, but it was a night where, yeah, I learned to, yeah, just cheer for the home team and the team everybody was going for. And I'll be doing that tonight if I get together with the Leaf fans in the neighborhood here. Yeah, self-preservation. I've had to do it in football stadiums. You know, I entered into that black hole in Oakland before. And yeah, I was not cheering for the Chargers that I was there to see. I was a Raiders fan that day as far as anybody ever knew.
Smart move, my friend. Very smart.
Yeah, yeah. There's places you definitely don't want to be cheering for the home team. Speaking of that, there have been a lot of controversy lately. Most of these NBA arenas didn't have fans until very recently. The energy and the atmosphere was tough to get going. You and I enjoyed the games in the bubble, and you know, really thought it was very highly competitive basketball and fun to watch. But when these fans started coming into these arenas, the electricity, the atmosphere, the energy was just returned. It was, you know, that phrase, you don't know what you got until it's gone, was very apparent. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I didn't realize how much it would lift up these teams. We saw an MSG. These games were just so fun. They would show crowd shots. They'd show Spike. They'd show famous people having fun. But it has suddenly crossed the line here now, where fans are throwing things at the players. We've seen incidents happened in the past week that weren't happening, obviously, when no fans were there. And so I hope that these, you know, idiots that are entering these buildings calm down, just enjoy the game, make it fun. But they've really crossed the line here. And it's unfortunate because most of us were really excited to see fans back, but there are these guys that are throwing things at these athletes, spitting on them. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it's the spitting incident, especially super disgusting. Nobody deserves to be spit on. Period. No, right? There's nobody, and that happened to Trae Young in MSG Arena, and it's very, like, it puts the NBA in a very difficult situation because LeBron James was immediately out on Twitter saying NBA's got to do something about that. You allowed fans back into the building. That means you're going to have great fans and you're going to have very, very bad fans. You know what I mean? Yeah. You get the good and the bad. The NBA will try to do their best to try to make sure that there's harsh penalties for anybody that crosses the line. And I think what those guys did was a very good start, which was you're banned, and you're banned from ever coming to the arena or going to any games or any events in said arena. Now, to hopefully to enforce that ban, they have their driver's license number, they have their face to know who they're talking to, and to make sure that that person will never enter their premises ever again, right? Because as Shaq was saying, if you don't show their face, they can still, there's still wiggle room for them to try to manage to weasel their way back in. Right. And I love what he was trying to get at, which is we need to publicly shame these people. Yeah. We need them to show their face so that they know, and so that their family members or friends will be like, what are you doing? Why would you do that? Yeah. Aren't you there to have fun? What's fun with doing that? Like, and especially now the consequences are you don't get to see another game again. That's great. Or you get an arrest record. Double great. Like, no, man. Just go to the games, enjoy seeing these premier athletes do their thing, have fun, go home. Like that's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, all of us that are sports fans and have been to live events have seen, you know, people drinking too much, people acting like yahoos. We've seen, you know, the streakers. We've seen, you know, things that cross the line a little bit. But I don't know, for some reason recently it's just been getting really bad, and too many incidents right away. The one yesterday from MSG was the guy threw a water bottle after Kyrie Irving had stepped on the logo and smushed it a little bit. I think that was wrong for Kyrie to do. I don't think he needed to add insult to injury. They had beat them fair and square, and walk off the court as a humble winner. I think he crossed the line, but the guy threw a water bottle at him as he was exiting the building, and I saw him get arrested, banned for life from the building. He was a Boston guy, though. He was wearing a Kevin Garnett Boston shirt, so I'm not sure if he lives in Boston or is he Newark or just transplant from New England area. But Kyrie crossed the line, but obviously this guy went way over the line, and I'm glad he got arrested and was exited out of the building.
Yeah, like Kyrie took a page out of Terrell Owens' book by doing that stuff with like the logo and stuff, and the disrespect and everything else. Yes, I kind of get why he did that. I do, but at the same time, it was kind of like, as Charles Barkley said, it was just completely unneeded. It was unnecessary, right? But for the fan to throw the water bottle in response to that, well, you can't have that either. You definitely cannot have that happen. So I just hope that the fans kind of get the idea to just, I don't know, conduct yourself with respect, act right. That's all you got to do. Just go to the games, enjoy the games, have fun, have a couple beverages, not go over the limits, and then go home safe. That's all you got to do, man. It's a very, very simple.
Sounds simple. Should be. Let's hope that's the last of the incidents we'll see in this playoff run. And there'll be definitely people will realize, I'm here to have fun. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be banned from here. I'd like to come back for some other games. And that's the last of it. Unfortunately, Russell Westbrook has been a target. I couldn't believe all the incidents I saw. They did a little compilation, and he's been in a lot of altercations with fans in different arenas all over the place. Did you see that compilation yourself?
I did not see the compilation, but here's the one thing that I'm very proud about Russell Westbrook, that he hasn't gone Ron Artest and said, time to take matters into my own hands.
Yeah, right.
Start destroying fans. Like, at least he hasn't gone to that place, because some of the stuff that he's had to deal with, no player should have to deal with that. And on multiple occasions, all the time with him, no, man, you shouldn't have to deal with that. So him speaking up, that's an absolute. He should be speaking up, because it's happened to him way too many times.
Let's get into some of the series and some of the games that came through this weekend. The one I want to start off first is the Lakers-Suns series, tied at 2 after the Suns won 100-92 yesterday. The Lakers received a huge blow, and you and I have talked about this a lot this year. The Lakers have had LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the shelf many games this year, and Anthony Davis was hurt. It looks like a left groin strain, they call it. He got hurt in the first half, didn't return for the second half. Highly questionable if he can play next game, the rest of the series, I would think. One thing came to mind after I saw it and after I heard the, inside the NBA guys talking about, and it's Shaq saying, well, there's playing hurt and there's playing injured. Are you injured or are you hurt? Where do you cross the line there? A lot of us are old men, and when you see a basketball player walk into a room, you know that he has put his body through a lot of stuff over his years, and he's played hurt. Not necessarily injured, but played hurt. So do we see Anthony Davis back this next game? Do we see him back this series? I guess that's the ultimate question, but where do you think this is going to end up?
Here's the thing, man. Like, honestly, I believe Davis sits out. And here's why. Here's the thing. His past history, he has had so many freaking injuries because he's injury prone. Like, his body is kind of fragile. at this moment in time. So let's say hurt or injured, as Shaq would put it, he gives it a go anyways. What if he makes it worse and now he can't play in the playoffs at all?
Right.
You know what I mean? I would, with Davis and with his injury history, I would err on the side of caution, keep him out for a game, and see how his groin reacts after a game. I would do that because knowing his past, knowing the fact that if I put him out there, I could lose him potentially for the rest of the playoffs, period. Not just the series, all the playoffs. I don't play him, man. I don't play him. I don't take that risk.
But can the Lakers win without him?
I thought maybe they could have had a chance until I saw Chris Paul play the way that he did last night. And he kept saying, I'm back. I'm back. Because he definitely was not right the previous 2 games before because of that crazy, the way that he even injured himself, that crazy shoulder contusion that he suffered, and just how bad it actually was. But obviously, the Suns' medical staff is excellent. They've managed to get him back right, and he looked fantastic. So I would say now that Paul seems like he's back to at least 90% of himself. No, that the Lakers need AD to win this series. And if he's not there, LeBron will do LeBron things, but he still needs his guy to help him assist in a win. He needs that guy.
Yeah, well, speaking of injured or hurt, man, he was hurt seriously bad. You could tell he was losing the handle when he was dribbling. He was, definitely not right. You could see it in his play and the way he passed, the way he was handling the ball. But I don't think he's 90%. I think you're overshooting. I think he's less than that. But he's a guy that's a warrior, has been through so many of these series in his career, and he needs to be there. They said to him, we're holding you out, and he said, no, you're not, and made sure that he played that game. And they've tied this series now, and now Phoenix has got this home court advantage. I think they're going to be able to knock the Lakers off, and this is going to be a monumental thing that we're going to look back on for years and years and realize that LeBron brought AD over. They were supposed to be winning championship after championship, and they will not be defending it this year.
Yeah, I always gave the Suns a lot of credit where maybe a lot of others didn't, because they're a very good team. They're a very good up and coming. They got great young players along just with the right sprinkling of veterans on that team. Like, the Suns are really, really good. And it was unfortunate when Paul got injured the way that he did, because now you're like, it happened. And I felt bad because it happened to him again. Because you remember that run with Houston where they could have, and they probably should have made it to the finals, but he blew his hamstring. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, how could this happen to this dude again? But maybe with the way that he's changed his diet, the way that he takes care of his body, the way that he now conducts himself when it comes to playing the game that he loves, has actually contributed to the fact that he's recovered quicker than maybe he normally would have from this just very crazy situation of how he even got that injury in the first place. I think all of those things have actually benefited him, so that now that you see the results from the last game where he actually looked not injured for once, and he played very well with 18 points and 9 assists.
Well, they spread the scoring around there. It used to be just Booker would get 50 points and then nobody else, but they spread the scoring around. There was 6 guys in double figures, and I've been super impressed with DeAndre Ayton. That guy has been probably the best player in this entire series from game 1 through game 4, and being such a young guy, nobody knew if he'd be able to step up and play with that against that really strong front court of the Lakers. He's looked amazing.
No, he has looked amazing. But the one thing that I've been really struck by is his steady play. Yeah. He's been consistent with his play and with his effort. And that's what the Suns have to count on. They have to count on their big man to be consistent. And he has been that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The other series, That's 2-2 is the other LA team, the Clippers, against the Mavericks. And the Mavs have looked great at times. Yesterday, they got beat by 25, though, 106-81. And looked thoroughly overmatched. Luka Doncic has some type of neck injury that's really hampering him and causing him a lot of pain. I can tell that he's been grimacing and wincing. I hope they're able to get him back to 100% because he's so fun to watch when he's fully healthy. Where do you see this series now shifting? Do you see that the Clippers have now taken over the momentum and the Mavericks are history?
Yeah, the Clippers have taken over the momentum because the Mavericks had a chance. They had a chance in game 3 to take it away and crush the Clippers' soul. They had a chance in that game 3. That game 3, they came out absolutely on fire. Yeah. On fire, man. Like Luka must have hit 4 threes. I don't think he missed a shot until the 6th shot. Like they were absolutely flame throwing. But here's the thing that I still can't believe. Kawhi and Paul George matched that. They literally didn't miss for the rest of the game. They were incredible. I couldn't believe it. Like that was a must-win game, and their 2 players, they showed up beyond showing up. They exceeded anything that you could have ever thought that you needed from those 2 for that game. And then speaking of Kawhi, their leader, last 3 games, including game 2 that they lost against the Mavs. So game 2, 3, and 4, Kawhi has been shooting over 70% from field goal. 70%, man, averaging 35 points per game. He has done everything in his power to make sure that we're going forward. And when you have your superstar playing like that, and with George following his lead by not settling for jump shots anymore, that was the most I've seen those 2 drive probably all year. They just kept constantly putting pressure on the Mavs defense and attacking. They're in attack mode, both those guys. And you've seen the difference. And then also, too, with the defensive pressure that they've upped now, and the fact that Luka is now playing hurt, and you can definitely tell that he's being hampered by that injury. And it's some sort of weird nerve damage that I have no idea how he suffered that injury. But, man, you can tell it's definitely affecting his play. And he's getting no help, though. In these last 2 losses, where is Porzingis? What is he doing? Like, where are you, man? Like, this is one of those times that dude has to step up. My guy is hurt. I got to have his back. And he hasn't done that yet. And I don't know if he can.
I feel like he's too slight a frame. I just don't feel like he is willing to go into the tough areas, willing to fight for, his spaces. I think he's just too small, skinny a frame, not enough, muscle on him. I don't think he has that heart and will. And I haven't seen much from him after he left New York. Really, I haven't been super impressed since he's been with the Mavs. He's got the height, he's got the ability to shoot out, at distance. But I think a big man like that should be getting a lot of rebounds, getting a lot of second chance points, really, getting those high percentage shots, and he's never really there.
Yeah, man. I completely agree with you. He's just, it's like he's lost a step or several steps.
Yeah, for sure.
Or his body just will not react the way that he needs it to react anymore. I don't know what it is, but I wish he could figure out to help Luka out, because somebody's got to help that dude out right now. Somebody has to.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it pans out. But you're right. Kawhi and Paul George, these last 2 games, they've both been just phenomenal, really, really accurate shooting. Very, very. Kawhi is just a force, and he's shown why he's been MVP of the playoffs on a couple of occasions. And is one of the reasons why they talk about the Clippers as being a front runner to win the title. So finally, both of them are hitting on all cylinders, playing super well together. And I think the Mavericks are in big trouble now. So Let's move on to another series. The Brooklyn Nets yesterday set a franchise record with 141 points, beating the Celtics in Game 4, taking a 3-1 lead now. 141-126. This was just an offensive explosion. Absolutely incredible to watch. First time two Brooklyn Nets have ever scored more than 35 points on the same team, same game. Kevin Durant had 42 and Kyrie Irving had 39 and 11 rebounds. Man, we've been waiting for these guys to come together and see this amazing offensive explosion. Only 8 times they played together before the playoffs. Finally hitting on all cylinders. And man, it's fun to watch this kind of basketball. And they were really dynamic last game.
Yeah, they were. I'm gonna also throw in that Harden had 23 points and 18 assists. All right.
Yeah.
So with 3 players scored over 100 points for the Nets, 3 players, and 1 player, Harden, took a step back. So that's the problem that you have when you face these guys. 3 players scored over 100 points, and there were still 40 points scored by the rest of the team. That's a really hard team to play against. And I want to add, the only reason why the Celtics won their one game is because Jason Tatum had to have a 50-point outburst to beat these guys. 50 points. Well, he had the one. He only scored 40 in this one. That's why they didn't win, I guess. But it's just not fair. It's not. They have a plethora of offensive weapons for the Nets, and the Celtics just don't have enough, especially with the fact that Jaylen Brown is out with an injury.
That was a huge blow to them. They're losing Jaylen Brown, and then Kemba Walker couldn't play this game, so that was another really big blow. They had to have Marcus Smart in there, Evan Fournier, and Romeo Langford started for them. They also lost Robert Williams to injury to this game, and so their front court was hurt as well. So, it's too bad. Boston's injury troubles have reared their ugly head. Man, Jason Tatum was phenomenal in that game where he put the whole team on his back and scored 50 and willed them to win, but he doesn't have enough of a assembly, enough of a running crew that he's going to be able to take down Brooklyn. And I think it's probably over in 5, and Boston will have to go home. Everybody expected Brooklyn to pull this off, but when you see things good on paper, we wondered how they're going to share this basketball. How are 3 guys going to be able to do it? James Harden has taken that step back. It's facilitated, and now these 2 scorers are elite level. And look out! This Eastern Conference has a real big title contender, and they finally have gelled, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've gelled, but the thing that I'm really looking forward to once this series is over, the Nets Celtics, is the next series, Nets Bucks. Now you want to talk about heavyweights? You want to talk about the best of the best going at each other? That's the series to watch. That'll definitely be the series to watch. I can't wait to see that.
Were you surprised that they swept the Heat?
No, I was not surprised that the Bucks swept the Heat. Here's why. It seemed to me throughout the entire course of that particular series, the Heat could not find offensive rhythm at all, whatsoever. And I don't blame Jimmy Butler. He didn't have a great series, but neither did anybody else on the freaking Heat. Everybody played poorly. Nobody played well. And I loved the defense that the Bucks incorporated against Bam, because they realized that there's some slight shortcomings with Bam's game. And so they used what Giannis always has to face against defenses, which is a wall. They walled up Bam. And then that limited his offensive production that he could give to the team. And then that also, it was like a domino effect. It just began to affect everything else that the Heat try to run and try to do. So, and like I said before, the Bucks are not the same Bucks from last year. Drew Holiday, as I pointed out before, is one of the main differences. And then also too, I forget PJ Tucker. They got this element of toughness along with Portis as well. They got toughness now. They can make stops. They're defensively solid, especially when you have two defensive stoppers on the court at the same time with Giannis and Drew Holiday. Like, they're a different team and they're a better team. And you could tell from this series.
Yeah, you sure could. Yeah, I was surprised that so many of the Heat players went cold. They got that great experience last year, running all the way to the finals. I thought that experience they'd be able to get, be able to use that as motivation and get them farther. Yeah, I was really surprised to see Bam struggle most of the games. The last game he got 20 and 14, which was good numbers. Jimmy Butler had a triple-double in that last game, but nobody else has been stepping up. I've been really shocked at how poorly Tyler Hero has been. We saw one good game from Duncan Robinson. He hasn't been hitting his outside shot. Kendrick Nunn has been pretty non-existent until this last game. He got 18 points, but yeah, just not bringing it. Too many guys just not stepping up and having a good series. And the Bucks are, the Bucks are resting. They have, they're waiting for their next opponent. And who knows who it's going to be? It's not figured out yet, but we'll see how it pans out. Another series that's tied 2 games apiece has the Blazers and the Nuggets. This series has been fun to watch. Great offensive weapons on both sides. And the Blazers have had a couple off games, but when they're on, they're very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, they are very, very tough to beat. The one thing that stood out to me in this particular game that I still can't believe, Dame only had like 2 points, and they crushed them. They crushed them. Another thing that stood out to me in this game, because it happened before and the Nuggets lost. Joker, 16 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist. Last time he had 1 assist, they lost as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal, man, because now that you've seen that happen twice, maybe that's the way that you have to shut this team down, is to limit the amount of assists that he gets. But very hard to do because the Nuggets weren't even hitting their shots anyways. So if the others can't step up for the Nuggets, I believe the Joker will do what he needs to do. But if the others don't hit shots, they're not going to win, and they're not going to win this series. It's been proven. I keep seeing that. Like, if it happens again, they're going to lose again. If he has only 1 to 2 assists, they're going to lose again. And also, too, that was a gift that the Trailblazers gave him, or Dame did, because he's not going to score just 2 points again in this series. That's not going to be a thing.
Yeah, I was shocked at how poor the outside shooting was for Denver. Michael Porter Jr. had 3 points in that game. He's supposed to be the guy that steps up in Jamal Murray's absence. He's supposed to be that secondary scorer. Aaron Gordon supposed to bring a lot of this leadership as a veteran. They only played him 18 minutes for some reason. He only got 6 points and 4 boards. Really not a factor at all. So many of the guys, Austin Rivers had a good game 3, but really wasn't a big factor in game 4. Some of their bench players got a few points, but man, the starters were really lacking for the Nuggets. And Norm Powell finally went off, had a really big game, 29 points. Great to see. He's had a hard time adjusting to figuring out how to get the ball. Obviously, CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard, get the most attention and the most shots drawn up for them. But good to see Norm finally have a really good offensive game and get 29 points and contribute to this victory.
Yeah, and also too, just to show that that's another threat that can just pop up on the Trailblazers team that you have to be concerned with, because he has the ability to go off. He does. And then that's where the points came. If it wasn't coming from Dame, those points had to come from somewhere. and it came from Norm Powell this time. And so that's what I'm talking about, where a team has to pick up sometimes for the superstar's not having a great game. And then somebody did for the Trailblazers in this particular respect, and it was Norm Powell with 29 points.
And great to see Carmelo Anthony in there. He's contributing. He's getting some good shots and looking rejuvenated. I think every time I think of Carmelo Anthony, I think of him coming in second behind LeBron James in the draft, going to Denver. And there was some people questioning, should it be Carmelo Anthony or LeBron James? And it's pretty shocking to think that there was anybody ever thinking Carmelo, but often when he scores baskets, he is actually passing some of the greats of all time in points and scoring. And it's great to see him. He was thrown to the scrap heap, didn't look like his career was going to have any more life to it. And he's been able to come in and be a really good complementary piece.
Yeah, but also too, he had to have a difference in perspective because he wasn't a starter anymore. And then that was one of the reasons why he was out of the league for so long, because he just refused to take the role coming off the bench until finally he did. And now he's able to extend his career because he was able to finally change his perspective on what he can and should be able to provide for a team. So that took some maturity on his part to get to that point. And now look at where he is. Now he's on a great team with great players and has a chance to possibly go to the second round.
Yeah, he sure does. Okay, why don't we just touch briefly on the other series? The Hawks are up 3-1 on the Knicks. I think most people thought the Knicks were going to be able to take this series. I don't think they gave the Hawks as much credit as they should have. And Trae Young has been just unbelievable in this series. He has really, really stepped up and shown that he's one of the elite guards in this league, one of the top players. And the Knicks have had their struggles. Julius Randle hasn't played to the way he was playing in the season. But Atlanta's looking great, and a force to be reckoned with for the Knicks.
Yeah, I look at the difference between these two teams. I believe is that the Knicks have a hard time scoring. You can just see like whenever they run their offensive sets, they struggle to score. It's very hard for them to score. Where on the other side of the ball, Atlanta just seems to have a much easier time scoring because I think they have a lot more scoring options than the Knicks actually do. And I think it's becoming more and more apparent as the series goes on. And with the fact that Trae Young is growing up in front of our eyes. He's becoming more of a mature point guard. He's knowing game situations on what to do and what not to do, when to pass the ball, when to get his teammates involved, and when to take over. Like, he's learning that now, and he couldn't have a better coach to coach him through that with Nate McMillan, being a former defensive specialist guard from the Seattle Supersonics. He couldn't actually have a better mentor for that. And you can see that it's paying off. It's paying dividends right now.
Yeah, and he's becoming a villain in New York. It's amazing. Reggie Miller was probably the biggest villain, in our lifetime in New York. But he's having a lot of fun with it. That spitting incident was just horrible. Luckily, he didn't, notice it at the time right away, and it didn't affect him any. But he's having fun with it, and I don't know if, it's going to be interesting this next game in New York. If Atlanta can, rip their hearts out and finish them off, it's going to be a fun game to watch.
It is going to be a fun game to watch. And I'm going to say this. I think the fans will be on better behavior this time around going forward. I think the message has been sent loud and clear that kind of behavior will not be tolerated whatsoever. So I think you'll see better behavior. I know that the stadium's going to be rocking, and they're going to be cheering hard for their Knicks, but that young guy is an assassin. He really is. And so he's going to look to take their heart right from them. He's going to be coming out big.
Yeah. There have been some other interesting storylines, and one of them is Derrick Rose having a bit of a career resurgence there. Former MVP, really super talented guy. Injury troubles like crazy in his career, and he's lost a step, but great to see him reunited with Tibbs and coming into New York, suddenly just very beloved by the fans there. They finally decided to not bring him off the bench and start him, and he has been that option, scoring option that they needed, that they were lacking. But I don't know if he has enough to be able to outgun Trae Young and be able to help these Knicks win this next game.
Well, you know what, from what Rose has contributed so far has been fantastic. And I love the fact that Tibbs is now putting him in the starting lineup. And it's like, well, you're going to run the show, because he did give Alfred Payton a chance. He didn't see enough. That's why Rose is in. And hopefully, if Rose is going to play well, then Randall absolutely has to play well. Because the difference from now to the playoffs is that they did a lot of isolation ball with Randall. But what Randall's beginning to figure out is that isolation ball in the playoffs doesn't work. They're going to game plan for you. They're going to D you up so that they're just going to take that away. And so since they've taken that away, it's now up to Randall and Tibbs to figure out other options of where to put him in so that he can be successful. Put him in positions of success so that he can succeed. Like maybe more off-ball screening and stuff like that, just to get a movement. Get some sort of movement within the offense. Get Matt Randall moving, cutting, back doors, whatever needs to happen. But you got to get that guy on track somehow, because you can't win. If you're the Knicks, you can't win without Randall having great games.
Yeah, they've become quite stagnant, and he doesn't know what to do. I think once they put a wall up and force him, he just can't seem to figure out another option. So, yeah, I guess they're back to the drawing board. Hawks have him on the ropes, and it looks like Atlanta's going to win this, but it's going to be fun at MSG tomorrow night, and I can't wait. The Jazz and the Grizzlies are playing tonight, the late game. Utah's leading 2-1. This series has been pretty fun, but I think Grizzlies are definitely a bit overmatched. They have such balanced scoring with Utah. Ja Morant has been phenomenal to watch and doing great, but Utah, man, I can't believe scoring depth so far down, even down through their bench. They're looking really great.
Yeah, their offense has, as the series gone on, has become even more efficient. And they have guys that can just bomb away from three. And then once they start hitting their threes over and over again, all of a sudden you're down by 15 and you don't even know what happened. You have no idea how you even got there, right? Yeah. So I look at the Jazz, I think they definitely have an advantage. As long as Donovan Mitchell stays healthy, because I think he's still nursing that hurt ankle for the most part, but he still looks fantastic. He looks good. And I think they're doing a great job on restricting his minutes, not overplaying him too much. And they haven't had to, because the team is playing fantastic basketball.
Yeah,
they really are.
And Conley must be happy leaving Memphis. He spent a lot of years there trying to help that organization. He contributed another 27. He's been a really great in that backcourt, and amazing complementary piece with Donovan Mitchell. Ja, put up 27. Dylan Brooks, Canadian, really having a fantastic season and series. He's been getting to the tough places on the court to score. He's a really good lethal shooter when he finds an open area. And those two have been trying their best to will this team to win, but they just don't seem to have what the depth that the Jazz have. So it's probably going to end in about 5, but it's been a fun series to watch still.
It has been a fun series to watch. And then the one scoring punch the Grizzlies are missing is Jaren Jackson. But I wouldn't have expected much from him, because he's just coming off a major injury and he still has to knock the rust off, so to speak. kind of hard to knock the rust off in a playoff atmosphere. It really is. So I expect the Jazz to go forward in this. I think they're the better team. And the Grizzlies, well, they're going to put up a good fight, but I don't think they have enough.
Yeah, I thought Jonas Valanciunas had a fantastic year. He looked really good going into this. Had some fantastic games in the play-in round, but going against Rudy Gobert is just too tough. This defensive stalwart, man, he just clogs the middle up, and he's really, really, really tough to beat down there.
Yeah, he is. He swallows you up, and he's that rim protector, that last bastion of defense that they're finding very, very hard to overcome, especially John Morant. I just want to say I'm going to give John Morant plenty of credit, though, because he's been attacking Gobert every once in a while, trying to cram one on him, crown him in particular. He hasn't got him yet, but he's gotten close.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, might as well go after the best and try to put him on a poster, get him a little less confident. And I have seen some pretty amazing, spectacular plays from him. But Utah's great this year. They proved why they were the number one team in the whole league. So they seem to be moving on. The final series, game 5 goes tonight. Less than 2 hours away, the 76ers and the Wizards. Game 4 tonight, game 4. 3-0 Sixers over the Wizards. Russell Westbrook has been banged up, left that last game with an ankle injury. And if he doesn't play, they're dead in the water. But I think, Philly's just too much. They've got such a great deep team. Embiid and Tobias Harris have looked phenomenal, and Ben Simmons is facilitating, getting rebounds, getting a few shots up. They're looking really, really, really good, and I think this is probably going to be a sweep.
I think so too. The Sixers have looked better from the start against the Wizards. They just have a better team overall. You got like a bona fide MVP candidate in Embiid. Yeah. You have Ben Simmons, who's probably one of the best defensive players in the league, along with Thibault, who is another amazing stalwart. He's amazing to watch. So you got a very defensive-minded team, and then you have a guy that was snubbed as an all-star in Tobias Harris, who's been very, very good this series. Yeah. So they just have a great team, man. They have a superior team. And unfortunately, the Wizards have Beal and Westbrook to rely on. It's not enough. It just simply is not enough.
It's not. Yeah. Beal has been phenomenal this year, huge scorer and looking really fantastic. But yeah, they just don't have the depth that they need. And that's why they were one of the last teams to join the party and be one of the first to leave the party. And those elite teams are really showing their strength at the top of the East. The Bucks, the Sixers, and the Nets. It's going to be a dogfight between these guys to win the East this year. And we're really seeing the cream of the crop emerge.
Yes, you are. You're seeing the cream of the crop emerge. It's just going to be a lot of fun when these teams get whittled down and we go into the second round, because it's still up for grabs. Yeah. Everything is still up for grabs. You can't say for sure who's going to be the front runner to win the whole thing, because you just never know. You never know. That's why we play the game.
Yeah. I've been really loving how much inside the NBA we're getting to see, how much of Charles, Shaq, and Kenny and Ernie Johnson. We're really blessed when the playoffs come around. Seeing those guys on just on a 1 day a week basis is not enough. It's been so great and so fun. They are up to their usual antics, and it's always hilarious as usual. Did you see Ernie Johnson strut back from the board when he beat Kenny there the other day?
Yes. And I see Kenny. Oh, come on, man. Kenny needs to smarten up. You sound a lot like Michael Johnson, always pulling up lame. It's like, oh, my doctor said I can't run yet. Come on, man. Come on, man. Can you run or not? I loved it. I loved it because like Ernie, as I've told you before, is my favorite guy off that panel. And when he did the strut, I'm like, oh yeah, you show him, Ernie. You earned that one. Then he kicked his feet up on the desk, like a big shot. Awesome. Loved it.
They're putting the Godfather label on him these days too. He's getting all these great hilarious memes and tweets and stuff that are calling him the Godfather, and yeah, he's embracing these roles quite a bit.
Yeah, no, and as he should, and that's why people love watching these guys, because they have fun. They have fun and they consider each other family, and that's what gives them their winning chemistry on TV, on air.
I love their gone fishing segments. And did you see this last one yesterday where they were in the boathouse and they actually did a really cool set that's different from the regular boat that they're trying to fish off? Did you see that one?
I missed that one. But I did see. I love the fact that when Charles Barkley does his guarantee, that now it's a huge thing. You got lights going off. Confetti comes down.
Balloons fell from the ceiling.
And then you have the dancing Charles in the background doing their thing. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how many of his guarantees haven't worked out, but he still keeps putting them out there. And man, they're so fun. It's been so fantastic to see, how much popularity they're getting as the years go by. And it's going to be interesting when the NHL decides all the guys on their panel. TNT won the rights to broadcast a lot of the NHL games next year. And Wayne Gretzky was the first guy they hired to be on the panel. So that was a huge coup. When you follow hockey and you look at the analysts that are out there, none of them are the greats of the game. None of them are the Hall of Famers. A lot of them are former goalies, defensemen, guys that were, second liners, second pair defensemen, different guys, not the superstars. This will be probably the first show that we see a superstar. Jeremy Roenick, I guess you could call him a American superstar, but most of the broadcasts, we don't see these guys. So great to see Gretzky as the first guy that they've hired. I don't know who they're going to have in Ernie Johnson's seat as the host, who they're going to get the rest of the panel out, but $3 million they're paying him for 1 day a week work during the regular season, and then playoffs. I guess we'll see how it works out, but pretty cool to see Gretzky be the first guy that they signed on.
Yeah, it's very cool, because now that they have Gretzky, other greats will be like, okay, well, if Wade's going to do it, I'll think about it now. I'll think about it. Doesn't mean I'll do it, but I'll think about it. And also, too, I hope whoever they have as the broadcaster to run the ship, that guy's got to be a hockey fan. Please do not take him from another section of sports like football or something and have him try to do hockey. I don't want to see that, and neither do like hockey fans. We're going to need somebody that actually knows what they're talking about and has been a hockey fan from the beginning. Do that, and it should be successful. Don't take somebody else from some other sporting thing because you think he'd be great and he has the personality. It doesn't work. So I remember one time where Stephen A. Smith started trying to talk for UFC. Don't ever do that again. Stephen A., you don't need to do that again either. You know that.
It's funny, as soon as you started mentioning that, I thought of Stephen A., and I wouldn't like him to be on that panel. I'd like taking him in small doses because he's so belligerent, so loud, and he, is very opinionated. But when he doesn't follow that sport faithfully, I don't really want to hear somebody's opinion that I don't really, think as super credible.
Yeah, exactly. And not somebody that I know follows it faithfully and respects the sport the way that I do, because that's why I watch him for basketball, because he does. That's his thing. That's what he does. UFC and mixed martial arts, that's not what he does. And it was very obvious that's not what he does. So all I'm saying, hockey people, you're putting this together, this great show. Just make sure it runs and you have people that are passionate about the sport.
I'm hearing a funny audio change for some reason. You're
Oh,
you're you're sounding tunnel-like.
tunnel. Okay. I haven't done. I don't know what to do.
That's weird. Huh.
Is it still like that?
Yeah, still like that. Yeah,
Okay.
just had a change. I don't know. Nothing I touched. I wasn't touching anything. So
Yeah.
okay. Well, I want to. I wanted to talk about the UFC card coming up on next Saturday. But I really want to just share. I want to share our website and the media network that we're on. Yeah, I want you to let me know what your thoughts are. Today is your first day getting a look at the new website and all the gist of it. So yeah, I'm going to pull it up here and ask you what you think. It's hard to hear you, but yeah, let me know. You see the countdown there. We're 18 and a half hours away from the launch of the website and all the elements to it. If you scroll down, you can see Complete Sports Media is the first platform that we're displaying on the website. Then we go into travel, music media, entertainment media, food and beverage, comedy, the Family and Friends Media Network, business, stock market, and photography round out the choices. So lots and lots and lots of great things that we're going to be able to get into with this Complete Media Network. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Jason? How do you like it?
Looks fantastic. It really does. It is. It goes into branches that I did not expect. It's very comprehensive, man, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the way it looks. I'm impressed with how it's laid out. Layout is very simple and easy to get to where you want to get to. It looks fantastic. It really does.
Great to hear. I'm glad you're liking it. Yeah, it's strange the audio. I don't know where that could have changed. Why it would have changed.
I think I know. I think I know why. I think I might be because my phone is low on the battery, and
Oh,
I
okay.
think it might have crossed the threshold, and that's why the sound did that.
Okay.
Just gotta make sure that-
Can you plug it in? Do you want to plug it in just before we finish?
Oh, okay. Let me,
I'll pull up some of the other websites. This is the Complete Music Media website, and there's the countdown there. We've got Corey White, we've got Empress Sunbow, got music artists from different genres. We've got a nice photo gallery, and yeah, lots of great things to pull up. We've got many websites. Complete Entertainment Media is another one. All these links will be off the main Complete Media Network page. So we've got the entertainment aspect here. And then we also have off of this particular page, oh yeah, we've got the Complete Music Media, and we've also got the food and beverage coming off out of the Complete Entertainment Media. As you see, there's the beverage and food components. We're going to have reviews and people going and giving you the best bets for restaurants, for places for really good cocktails, beers and wines. So many elements. This is super exciting. We've already have conducted some of the podcasts, and we're going to have regular contributors in many forms. So yeah, we're really excited here. We're super happy that we've been able to expand this. It took a little longer than we wanted, but it's time consuming to get it all together. But the soft launch will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. And then the big splashy launch is going to be approximately a week later. We haven't got the official date yet, but there'll be a soft launch, and you can start telling your friends and family and the people that you know a little bit more about it, and then start becoming a loyal viewer, listener, contributor even. And yeah, it's starting to really come together. We're really excited.
Yeah, and as you should be, because it looks fantastic, and it I'm just amazed. I'm amazed by how it's all coming together, and I couldn't be happier being a part of it.
Yeah, well, we want you to be a huge part of it, like you've already been. We want you, if you have ideas, if you have connections in some of those other categories, we would love it if you could let people know, and we could get more guests. We feel that this type of a forum is a really good way to people to get to know other people. They get an idea in the sense of their personality, of the type of people they are. We can find out a lot of things about their life. And we feel that having podcasts, having great episodes, we can start expanding that into so many different industries. And I think it can create a really good, loyal following for a lot of people.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially with the fact that it's just so diversified. There's something for everybody here on this network.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to just quickly talk about our partners and sponsors just before we get to the upcoming UFC. Anchor, great partner and sponsor for Complete Sports Media. Fantastic at posting on multiple podcast platforms. Anchor.fm is the place to go. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. V350 stick is something you need if you're a player or a family member of a player. Pampas and Possibilities, they design and sell dried florals, do floral arrangements and installations. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company, they grow and manufacture aloe vera based products for health and beauty. And we really thank all of them so much for all their help. Okay, we're running kind of late, so let's do it quick. But UFC Saturday, June the 5th, with also happens to be my birthday. Woo! Really excited that I've got a card that night. Hope to get together with a bunch of buddies and have a couple of pops and watch this card. The two heavyweight fights at the top of the card are going to be fun. We've got some real big bangers. Jairzinho Rosenstrike against Augusta Sakai is the main event. We mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but tell me your thoughts again. What do you think of this one?
I think it's going to be a great fight. You got two guys that are great stand-up strikers going at it, and each has the ability to knock each other out within one or two strikes. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm looking forward to seeing a huge battle between two huge titans.
Yeah, you're right. They both have severe power in their hands and can knock guys out with one or two shots. And it's going to be a battle to see who moves up the ranks and who starts moving down. Walt Harris, great story. A lot of tough times he's gone through in his life, still pursuing on, and gets to fight a really tough guy in Marcin Tybura. I look forward to this one a lot too.
Yeah, they both have very good wrestling skills, but I think their wrestling could kind of nullify each other, and then it will just turn into a stand-up battle. And if it does turn into a stand-up battle, I think I give the advantage to Walt Harris in the power perspective between the two.
We've got Roman Dolidze, up-and-comer, really, really, really strong guy fighting Staropoli. That'll be a great battle. Santiago Ponzinibbio fighting on this card. Going to be great. I like seeing Tom Breeze fight. He's fighting Antonio Arroyo. And the main fight on the prelims has Mr. Finland, Makwan Amirkhani, fighting Kamuela Kirk. Fun fight. I love seeing Mr. Finland fight all the time. I've got some Finland ties, and I always really cheer for a guy like him.
Yeah, man. He's a fun fighter, fun to watch. But he's going to be in tough against Kirk for sure in this particular fight.
And our Canadian friend of the show, recent guest on Complete Sports Media, Tanner Boser fights Ilir Latifi, the Swedish, what's his nickname again? The Swedish
Hammer.
Sledgehammer, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got the bulldozer against the sledgehammer. It's going to be fun. I'm sure cheering for Tanner. I hope he can win and we can get him on in a victorious podcast next week.
Yeah, and I think what Tanner's advantage in this fight will be is just his movement. I think he's just going to actually be quicker than Latifi. I think he's going to be a lot quicker than Latifi.
Yeah, so great card as always. We hope there's no big changes. Hope there's no problems with the weight cuts, and there's nothing COVID related to stop a lot of this card. But yeah, we'll see in a few days when they get the weigh-ins and get together. But yeah, another fight card. It was kind of strange having a Saturday night off. Didn't really know what to do with myself. I guess, yeah, this week we won't have to find out. Be sitting there watching with some buddies, enjoying the UFC and having a couple pops.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see the UFC back on, and we can expect events to be held every weekend this month of June. So it's going to be fun.
Thanks, man. This was awesome. Had a really good time as always. Great to break down the NBA playoffs, man. It's really fun to see the series start, evolving and emerging, and see who's still really, really close and who's starting to, separate themselves from the pack. That East is starting to really become a picture that's easy to see. West is not quite yet, but by next week, almost all these series should be figured out, and we'll be able to start figuring out the rounds as they go on.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see what teams actually do finally come out of the West, and looking forward to the second round for sure.
I'll start working on a double meal for you as well, and I'll start dropping off great dinners for you. Hopefully we can both eat like kings and be happy guys every time we do this podcast every Monday. Thanks a lot. Have a great week. I'm so happy that you're off. I don't know if you've taken this length of a time off in a really long time, so I'm super happy that you're doing it.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time, but it's been great, and it's nice to feel rested for once.
Yeah.
Kind of nice.
Awesome. Okay, man. Take care. Yeah, and I'll be in touch over this launch of the Complete Media Network. And like I said, yeah, if you have some people in mind, we really want to, get the word out. We would love to promote some great restaurants, some great bars, tasting rooms. We want to promote people. Our goal is to just promote. Everybody has something that they want to promote. Let's let them get on the network so they can do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll be in touch for sure. Got some ideas.
Sweet. Okay, buddy. All the best. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye for now.
Right. Okay. Cheers. Bye for now. Okay. Well, that's another great edition of the Complete Sports Media Podcast on the Complete Media Network. Super excited. The countdown timer is going, everybody. I hope we can get the excitement level up, and everybody can be as thrilled as we are. Thanks so much for your support as always. Thanks for tuning in. And we look forward to being able to bring you so much more content from so many more areas. I know some of you aren't sports fans out there. We do appreciate you still being fans and watching in. I think now I've got you covered. I think we've got something for everyone. And hopefully you are able to make us a part of your week every week. And we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care of yourself. Love you lots. Bye for now.